watching Alabama's WVUA News, first at 4.
If you enjoy King Arthur and a bawdy song or two, then we may have the event for you. Nick Helms is here from the Improbable Fictions to tell us more. Nick, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. It's our pleasure. Let's talk a little bit first about the organization that you're with, Improbable Fictions. Who are you guys?
It is a community and university group that got started about 3 years back. Between the UA English Department, the Department of Theater and Dance, Rude Mechanicals, which is a local Shakespeare group,
right.
Started as a way to offer students who were taking British literature classes chances to see classic plays in performance. And it's a lot easier to have 3 days of rehearsal and put up a staged reading with script still in hand than to spend an entire month rehearsing, getting props. So we throw these things up on the fly. We've done a lot of Shakespeare. We've done some Greek tragedies. And this is our first like 1730s Restoration England comedy. So
now I think a lot of times people, when they think about plays from that period, they kind of think, okay, well, it was Shakespeare and everybody else was terrible because you never hear about it. That's not the case. This show isn't necessarily from that exact period, but it's not too much further behind it. Tell us about it.
It's actually kind of funny. This is written by Henry Fielding, who is one of the early novelists, but was also a dramatist. He claimed when he published this that Shakespeare wrote it, but he's actually stealing a bunch of lines from the plays of his contemporaries and then making fun of them. So it's sort of this, it's the tragedy of tragedies or the life and death of Tom Thumb the Great. So it's about King Arthur, but it's really about Tom Thumb the Giant Slayer and giants and swords and fantastic lines that are sort of sending up those old stodgy plays, the ones that aren't so good.
There you go. All right, and if the folks at home are, tragedy of tragedies, this isn't going to be a very sad show.
No, it's not. No. I promise you, everyone dies, but it's in a funny way. So.
Well, that's all that matters.
Right, is the comedy, and everyone dying.
Because if you can't die for comedy, I mean, what can you die for? What is sacred? What
Absolutely.
is not? All right, great. And you guys have got, you didn't just, go out and go to the supermarket and say, hey, do you want to come read a book to some people you don't know? You got some talent this show, don't you?
We've got a lot of, a lot of local talent. People coming out of Theater Tuscaloosa, people coming from the university, faculty from the university. Steve Birch is involved in this, and he's a professor of theater history.
We've had him on the show once or twice.
Yeah, and he's fantastic, of course. So yeah, a good mixed group. Some people, their first shows, and some who have been in theater and community theater for decades.
All right, super. Nick, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
You can catch Tragedy of Tragedies tonight and tomorrow night at Kentuck in Northport, room 205. The show starts at 7:30. If I'm not mistaken, it is free.
It is free admission.
Show up.
Look for the Georgine Clark Annex building. We're not in the main Kentuck. We're in that little small studio there.
All right, super. You can find out more online at improbablefictions.wordpress.com.